She hit delete, but the internet hit save first. That's it. That's the fight. 16 minutes of a so-called champion screaming into a phone. And the only person who actually won this whole war never even logged on. Now back up, because what you just watched was not a live stream. It was a confession, filmed in HD by the woman confessing. Pause right before her thumb taps that red dot. Look at her face. That is not a woman about to defend a throne. That is a woman who already knows she lost something she cannot get back. And she is about to make it 10 times worse. On camera, in real time. Y'all, every other channel is reading you the surface. I'm about to walk you straight down to the basement. Her name is Claressa Shields. Born March 17th, 1995, in Flint, Michigan, a city the world remembers for two things: water you cannot drink and factories that don't exist anymore. She walked into a boxing gym at age 11. By 17, Olympic gold in London. By 21, Olympic gold in Rio. Back to back. The first American boxer, male or female, to ever pull that off. On paper, untouchable. In interviews, generational. The world believed her for a long, long time. But here's the part nobody on your timeline will say out loud. Somewhere between the medals and the microphones, a second Claressa quietly grew inside the first one trained, studied film, through combinations like a surgeon. The second one needed the spotlight the way the rest of us need oxygen. Two different women, one body, one brand. And the second one is the one who hit record that night. Now lean in, because this is where the receipts start dropping like rain. She tells the world she's been dominating for 2 decades. 2 decades. Open a calendar. Her professional career officially began November 2016, not 2005, not 2003. November 2016. The entire resume she's been selling is younger than a middle schooler. You cannot paint 20 years onto a career that hasn't even hit 10. But she keeps repeating that number like a magic spell. Like if she chants it loud enough, math will stop existing. It will not. And while she was on that live stream chanting, level 100, like a broken speaker, do y'all know who had just walked out of an arena with their hand raised the same night? Alicia Baumgartner, 18th professional win. Same building, same evening. And do y'all know who was being wheeled out of that same arena on a stretcher in a real medical emergency? Shadasia Green. The very Shadasia that Claressa had been chasing only 2 months earlier, saying, me and you next, me and you next. But the second Shadasia got hurt, suddenly Shadasia is an amateur. Suddenly Shadasia is beneath the conversation. Pick a lane, sis. You cannot crown somebody a worthy opponent in February and call them trash in April just because their luck turned upside down. That is not a champion talking. That is a woman rewriting yesterday because she cannot sell tomorrow. Now, here's what nobody is putting together. The opponent Claressa was actually swinging at that night, was not even a boxer, did not own gloves, was not in the same state. The woman living rent-free inside Claressa's skull was sitting in a New York apartment, calmly wearing a wedding ring that belongs to a marriage Claressa has been circling like a moth around a porch light for nearly 2 years. Her name is Remy Ma. Now don't move, because this is where it gets ugly. Strip everything else away. Forget the boxing banner. Forget the theater about who started what. What you're watching is a side character melting down on live stream because the lead actress walked into frame and dropped one verse that could not be edited out. The mocked abs, the level 100 speech, the wine bottle she cannot open, the threat to slap her rivals like she slaps her own niece. Every ingredient in this collapsed cake was measured and mixed by Claressa's own 2 hands. Then she lit the match herself. Remy Ma did not start this fire. Claressa printed the permit, bought the gasoline, cracked the windows so the neighbors could smell the smoke. Now let me show you the receipts. Because the receipts? Baby, the receipts are devastating. She brags about being undefeated. Real accomplishment on paper. But check the footnote where the air leaks out. Her knockout percentage? Quiet. Quieter than Alicia's. Quieter than Shadasia's. Quieter than Caroline Dubois. Quieter than Frank Han Cruz DeZern. Quieter than Lauren Price. Every one of those women she just called below her conversation. Their finished numbers are louder than hers. That is not the resume of a wrecking ball. That is the resume of a careful technician, a point collector, somebody who picks fights she's reasonably sure she can control on the scorecards. Nothing wrong with that until you start calling yourself a conqueror. The public finally learned to read the difference. But wait, it gets worse. Every elite name she keeps dropping. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Michaela Mayer, Caroline Dubois, Alicia Baumgardner, not one signed contract. Not one. She calls them elite in one breath and demands easier names in the next. That's not a champion kicking down doors. That's a tenant in a burning building, pointing at the smoke, asking somebody else to grab the extinguisher. If the gap was really as wide as she insists, the ink would already be dry. Instead, empty inbox, frozen calendar. Anyone with two eyes can watch the footwork of avoidance in slow motion. Now, let's go back to that night, the actual live stream, because every second of that footage is telling on her. She opens with a literal growl. A growl, y'all. Then she crowns herself level 100, while her peers are stuck at level 10. She demands admiration like it's an unpaid invoice. She has not congratulated a single fighter. Not Alicia, not Shadasia, not nobody. The whole monologue is her, and then the crack starts showing. She gets up, starts rummaging through a kitchen drawer, looking for what? A corkscrew. A corkscrew. The self-declared empress of women's boxing. The woman who built a decade of content around being clean, disciplined, sober, is now stumbling through a junk drawer on live camera, muttering about a wine opener, to millions of phones. In real time. Pause. Rewind. Listen. If you're not rattled, you don't need a glass. If you're not shaken, the bottle stays in the cabinet. That cork came out because her nervous system was screaming for something, anything, to take the edge off. Because somewhere between Alicia's victory and Shadasia's ambulance, she understood in her bones that the spotlight had moved, and no vineyard in America was shipping it back to her zip code. But the corkscrew isn't even the worst part. Listen to the background. You hear that? Beep, beep, beep. Under her entire monologue, a smoke detector, a low battery smoke alarm, the mechanical heartbeat of her empire, a self-proclaimed multimillionaire, in her own mansion, on a live stream watched by millions, cannot afford a fresh 9-volt battery. That beep is the entire performance summarized in one sound. Expensive on camera, chaotic off camera, polished in a photo, falling apart in the background. What kind of empire lets a fire alarm interrupt a level 100 monologue? The kind that doesn't actually exist. And then mid-rant, she lets it slip. She says she's gonna slap her rivals the way she slaps her daughter or her niece. Read that again, slowly. A public figure who has never publicly confirmed raising any child just casually narrated on a live broadcast physical discipline of a minor, while threatening adult pro athletes with the same treatment. Whether that was a verbal stumble or an accidental crack in the curtain, the damage was identical. Legal analysts rewound that clip the second it dropped. Brand safety teams already drifting toward the exit started sprinting. No insurance department at any major sponsor is signing off on that. Period. Now here's where the story actually shifts. This is the part nobody is putting together. The moment Remy Ma dropped that verse, that surgical, forensic, every bar counts piece of evidence, Claressa could not sit still in Michigan. Could not. Within days, she was on a flight to New York, of all places. New York. And then suddenly photographs start leaking from a steakhouse in Times Square. Candlelit table for two. Her on one side. A man whose legal marriage is still very much intact on the other. To another woman. To Remy. Somewhere between the appetizer and dessert, a load-bearing wall of her entire personal brand quietly collapsed. Because you cannot simultaneously be the queen of your division and the audition tape for second billing in somebody else's living room. Those two identities will not share the same body. One had to die, and the one that died is the one the public was actually paying to watch. Now listen, I want to be measured here, but the receipts? Loud. Open the file marked sponsorships. Try not to laugh. A 4-time undisputed champion with 2 Olympic golds should be drowning in endorsement money. Billboards outside every airport. Cereal boxes, sneakers, watches, Apple commercials. Instead, her inbox is a wasteland. No Nike, no Adidas, no Gatorade, no Rolex, no Mercedes, nothing. Her bag is carried, almost entirely, by one regional promotional contract with footnotes longer than the contract itself. That $8 million number she waves around like a parade flag? Read the fine print. It is tied to performance obligations and fight benchmarks she may never actually hit. Her ceiling is a regional arena in Detroit, not Madison Square Garden, not a Vegas pay-per-view, not a stadium under palm trees in Riyadh. And somewhere in the part of her brain still honest with self, she knows it. Now zoom in on the Frank Cruz DAZN fight, the one she keeps holding up like a coronation. Before that bout, the ring itself was approved at reduced size. A smaller ring favors a boxer who likes to shorten distance. Convenient. There was a weigh-in altercation that sent Frank into the ring already compromised. Convenient. Every structural advantage had been quietly stacked on Claressa's side of the ledger. And still what did the audience watch? A limping Frank landing cleaner shots than the broadcast wanted to admit. A bruise blooming over the champions, that nobody in her camp had scripted. A coronation that turned into a debate. That is not the paperwork of an unstoppable force. That is the paperwork of a careful architect whose blueprints are starting to warp. Here's another one. The Alicia Baumgardner contradiction. Alicia fights 3-minute rounds. A format Claressa publicly refuses to accept. Alicia wins her 18th fight on a card distributed nationally through ESPN, reaching millions of households. And how does Claressa respond? Not with a contract offer, not with a professional rebuttal, with a rant about visible abs. Sound familiar? Because Laila Ali used that exact same line on Claressa the year before. When Laila said it, Claressa publicly unraveled. Now that Alicia is wearing the same line, suddenly it is just an example of an insecure rival. Same insult, different mouth. The only thing that changed was the name on the microphone. The line did not get smarter. Claressa's patience just got shorter. But none of this, I mean none of it, is the actual nerve she keeps pressing and pretending not to feel. The actual nerve is Remy Ma, a legend of the terror squad, the wife of Papoose. A pen game sharpened over 2 decades of battle rap, studio sessions, and competition with the most elite lyricists in the culture. Word is, Claressa memorized every bar of that diss track, every pause, every inflection. That is not the behavior of a woman who is unbothered. That is the behavior of a woman studying her own indictment because the evidence matches the timestamps. You do not memorize a falsehood. You rehearse a truth that is carving bone. And then look at the geography of the insult Claressa keeps reaching for. The unofficial girlfriend is name-calling the legal wife. The footnote is mocking the headline. Every woman watching with a working moral compass understood instantly who the clown of the evening was. You do not pursue a married man across state lines and then hand out character grades to the woman whose vows preceded your invitation. That math does not balance. That sentence only makes sense in a universe where self-awareness has been evicted. And yet she said it. And now, it is archived on every server on the planet. Subtitled, memed, looped, saved, forever. Now here is a brand new layer that just started leaking. And this one is going to age your brand by 10 years overnight. Claressa's own cousin, Shalita Savage, recently went live and started airing out family secrets that nobody in her camp wanted touched. Mentioning Papoose, mentioning Remy, mentioning patterns. Patterns, plural. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, fans started noticing something even messier. Word is Papoose is allegedly still on Remy Ma's insurance. Still, read that again. Still, the girlfriend is on a live stream calling the wife names while the husband she is parading around is still legally entangled with the very woman she is mocking. You cannot make this up. You could not pay a screenwriter enough to make this up. And then, just last week, Remy Ma was spotted in Long Island, calm, collected, putting Papoose on blast in front of a crowd without so much as breaking a sweat. No live stream, no corkscrew, no smoke alarm, no level 100, just plain truth delivered cool in front of witnesses. And the internet went feral. You see the difference yet? That is the difference between a woman who knows who she is and a woman who is praying you do not notice who she is pretending to be. Now let's revisit the delusion she keeps selling. The 18,000 sellout, the face of the sport claim, the Canelo-Alvarez comparison. Y'all, a basic attendance audit demolishes the number. The official figures from Little Caesars Arena have not been independently verified at the level she keeps quoting. Meanwhile, the MVP card Alicia headline hit millions of households through national ESPN distribution. Reach no regional venue can touch in 10 years of trying. Comparing herself to Canelo, a man who lives on global pay-per-view megacards and stadiums, is not confidence. That is staring at a mountain through a peephole and insisting you're standing on the summit. The contradictions are stacking up. Are y'all keeping count? Because I am. She refuses 3-minute rounds, then mocks the women who fight them. She rejects being called a baddie, then chases the entire baddie ecosystem. The second a rapper says she does not measure up, She demands matchups with elite names, then begs for unknowns when nobody answers. She positions herself as a victim, then admits, unprompted, that she hits people. She claims to be a multimillionaire, cannot replace a smoke detector battery, brags about luxury cars she may not even own, insists Papoose does not let her out of sight. Then he vanishes every single time the heat turns up. Every single time. That is not a queen. That is a woman performing one. And the audience finally has subtitles. Now watch her body language from this moment forward, because the tectonics are shifting in real time. The microscopic pause when an interviewer says, Alicia. The eye drift when Remy enters a question. The jaw that locks at the sound of Papoose. The micro flinch when somebody mentions Long Island. Those are not random tics. Those are the surface tremors of a fault line that has been widening underneath her entire career. And the culture? The culture keeps screen recordings. The culture keeps memory. Every time she calls another woman an amateur from this point forward, a clip of her own breakdown is going to resurface in replies. Permanently. You cannot outrun a mirror with a better camera. And then, around minute 14 of that live stream, something happened. She caught a glimpse of her own reflection in the screen. A woman coming apart to the rhythm of a broken battery. A wine bottle she could not open. A smoke alarm that would not stop chirping. A husband who was not there. A wife who did not have to be. And she realized, far, far too late, that this footage was about to be clipped, captioned, subtitled, meme-feed, and weaponized by every rival she has ever collected. Champions do not flinch in public. Champions do not hit record and then hit panic. The deletion was a confession. The deletion was a surrender. The deletion was the bell she rang on herself. Now survey the wreckage with me. One last time. The brand deals are quiet. The fights she demands stay unsigned. The rapper is still married. The husband is still not hers. The cousin is now talking. The wife is now smiling. And the footage she tried to erase? Archived on every platform. Downloaded in bulk. Reposted in pieces. Subtitled in 8 languages. Saved in the private folders of every commentator who owes a rebuttal. The internet has a memory longer than any marriage certificate she keeps trying to pretend does not exist. But here's the part that keeps me up at night. She had access to every door that leads to a dignified exit. The retirement documentary, the Olympic mentorship role, the graceful rebrand, the legacy moment, and she still picked the fire escape. A 16-minute soliloquy that is going to outlive her career. The final verdict on this entire saga does not belong to the boxing commission, does not belong to her promoter, does not belong to Alicia, or Shadeja, or even Remy Ma. It belongs to the viewers who realize in real time that they were watching a champion fight the one opponent no gym on this planet can prepare you for. Herself. Most fighters spend a whole career building an empire. The label markets the persona. The promoter sells the tickets. The manager takes a percentage. The brands pay flat and keep the equity. At the end of it all, the fighter has headlines, but not peace. Claressa watched that blueprint play out in the lives of the women around her for a full decade, and when the moment finally required her to own her silence and let the work do the talking, she picked up the phone. She refused to be the quiet center of her own storm. She insisted on being the weather report, the eyewitness, the anchor, and the breaking news banner. All at once. All on the same live stream. All in 16 minutes flat. Most people think she is unraveling because Remy Ma dropped a record. The record had almost nothing to do with it. There are hundreds of diss tracks floating across the internet right now. Nobody is going to remember most of them by morning. This one cut because it was aimed at a wound that was already open. A wound she'd been bandaging with press runs and podcast monologues and stage photo dumps for years. She is not losing because a rapper rhymed. She is losing because a wife spoke plainly. And plain truth? Plain truth is the one opponent you cannot sign a contract against, cannot shorten the ring against, cannot ask for a reduced glove size against, cannot buy a favorable referee against. Zoom out one last time, because the shape of this whole collapse deserves a clean frame. A champion who refused to let her reputation do the talking. A live stream that turned into a sealed envelope full of evidence. A wife who never needed a tweet. A rapper who already said everything on a studio microphone. A husband who is still legally attached to the same woman he was attached to before the steakhouse reservation. A corkscrew that never arrived. A smoke alarm that refused to stop chirping. A cousin who started talking. An insurance card that never got canceled. And a delete button that was pressed 16 minutes too late. to save a career built on a myth the internet has now learned to audit in real time. The bell never rang to end this fight, because fights like this one do not use bells. They use timelines, archives, screenshots, receipts, a generation of viewers who learned to screen record before they learned to tie their shoes. She turned off her phone 16 minutes too late. The internet had already hit save, and the only person who did not yet know the match was already over was a woman still shouting into a camera that had long since stopped listening. Now, do me one last favor. Go back to the very first frame of that live stream. Pause it. Look at her face right before she hit record. That is not the face of a champion. That is the face of a woman who already knew the spotlight had moved, knew the steakhouse photos were coming, knew the cousin was about to talk, knew the wife was not coming, knew the brands were not calling. And in that exact second, in that micro pause before the red dot turned on, she made a choice. She chose to perform anyway, to shout into the void, to fight the one opponent who was never even in the building. And the void did what voids always do. It swallowed her whole. So next time somebody asks you who really won this fight, do not say Remy. Do not say Alicia. Do not say Shadeja. Do not say Papoose. Because none of them were really fighting. The real winner was the one person who never had to throw a single punch. The wife who stayed home, who let the receipts do the work, who knew some opponents eventually beat themselves if you just hand them 16 quiet minutes and a live stream button. And that, baby, is the whole story. Almost. Because if y'all think the saga's over, sit all the way down. Word is, there are at least 2 more shoes about to drop. And they are heavy. The cousin is not done. Not even close. The insurance trail has not been fully unpacked, and somebody close to that paperwork is allegedly already in talks to speak. The steakhouse waiter saw things that have not been reported anywhere yet, not on a blog, not on a podcast, not on a single timeline. And there is a second piece of footage from that same night, from a different angle, sitting on somebody's hard drive, unreleased. Yet, word is, somebody in Claressa's own training camp recorded a private clip the night before she went live, of her practicing the rant, practicing like a mirror monologue, and whoever has it is deciding this week what to do with it. The bell has not rung. The bell is never going to ring. This fight just got started, and the woman still pretending to be a champion does not even know she is the one bleeding. Save this. Screenshot this, because by the time the next clip drops, half of what she is selling tomorrow is going to be on fire. You heard it here on this channel first.